If you want to make money from your content, whether it's for your business or a side hustle, then you need a content flywheel. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to make one that will not only reduce the amount of time you spend making content by hours every single week, but also make you more money. So let's dive right in. So what is a content flywheel? By definition, it's a marketing strategy where each piece of content generates momentum that fuels the next, creating a self-sustaining cycle of growth instead of constantly starting from scratch. The mistake most people make is they try to reinvent the wheel every single week when they sit down to brainstorm their content. Without a content flywheel, the likelihood that your content will fail is definitely increased. And that's because most people don't have a strategy. They treat content like one-off projects with no compounding returns or strategic direction. And then they pick random topics because they hope something's going to stick eventually. People try to reinvent the wheel. They see posts work successfully for them in the past, but then they don't go back and try and revise it or try and redo it because they think they need to create a whole new concept for their audience, which means every time you sit down to brainstorm, you're just starting from scratch, and every piece requires full effort with no momentum building from your previous work. But with a flywheel, your past content informs and improves your future content. Content creation becomes easier, and you save a ton of time in the process. So let's get into step one, which is creating your 4 content pillars. These are 4 main topics your ideal clients care about. So each pillar represents a major pain point that they search for. For example, you run an ad agency. The 4 content pillars you can talk about are these: how to create ad ideas, how to produce ads, media buying and scaling, and how to optimize your ads. And for each pillar, you're listing problems, mapping out journey stages, and you want to rotate through each pillar weekly. That way you touch on the different problems that your audience faces on a week-to-week basis. And this works because it aligns all of your content. You're not creating random content, and all of it leads back to your main offer. Step 2 is we want to make a YouTube video based on one of your pillars. So why do we start with YouTube first? Well, it's easier to break down one bigger idea into smaller ones. It's like a New Year's resolution where you create one big goal, but then you break it down into achievable steps. Choose from your content pillar of the week, something your ideal clients actively search for. You want to find one sticky problem within that pillar, and you're going to solve that specific pain that your audience faces. And then you're going to tie everything together in the next step, which is step 3, creating the path to the solution. Without including a path in your content, you have a sticky problem and then you lead directly to a specific result. And that begs the question, how do I actually get that specific result? But with a path, you have a sticky problem, you have a clear path to that specific result. So how do we create a path? Well, first you identify the transformation. So you take your sticky problem and you define the positive outcome. Then you build a list of 3 to 5 steps to get from hell to the heaven state. So you're going to list out how to get the outcome into clear and actionable steps. For example, how to find winning ad ideas. This is the problem that your audience is searching for. Well, here is the path to get to a positive outcome. Look at competitor ads. Make variations of winning ads you've already had. Take inspiration from adjacent industries. So you'll improve your ROAS by 3x. So on to step 4, you want to repurpose across relevant platforms. So at this point, you have a pillar that you've chosen, which is a main problem your ideal clients are facing and searching for. You've created a YouTube video with a path to the solution from the problem. And again, editing and filming aside, you now have this base piece of content that now you can repurpose across all the platforms that your audience actually hangs out on. So how do we do that? How do we repurpose a YouTube video? Well, the first thing we want to do is pick out the lowest hanging fruit. So you can send the full YouTube video to your email list. Put it in your school community. I spelled school wrong. SKOOL community. Put it in your Facebook group. Put it in your Slack. Ask for engagement from the people in your communities or in your email newsletter. And you can even offer incentives like a free one-on-one call. And you can do it like a raffle style giveaway. I actually just did this in my school group. Someone engaged with my YouTube post and she won a free one-on-one coaching call with me. The next thing you can do is a hook plus post combo where you take the video hook and write accompanying posts, share on LinkedIn, Instagram, X with a clear CTA. So here's an example right here where I took the hook of one of my videos and I wrote a post to accompany it. So it basically goes over a high level overview of the process or the path people could learn by watching the video. Then they have a visual element here to get their attention. And then there's a call to action to actually go and search up the full video. And this works great because you can share it on LinkedIn. You can post the hook on Instagram and put the exact same caption in the text box for the post. You can also put it on X with a clear call to action. The next thing we can do is consolidate the full path, which means creating a high-level summary of the entire video as a LinkedIn post or an X thread. So what we're doing now is we're taking the entire video, which is like, a 10-minute video, but we're going to consolidate it into a 1-minute to read post, meaning we're taking out all of the details and just leaving the high-level information for people to get a full picture of the strategy that you're providing. The next thing you can do is break down each individual step on the path. So you expand on individual steps as stand-alone posts. So if I go back to our example of how to find winning ad ideas, we can make a video or a written LinkedIn post all about how to find competitor ads. For example, I know you can go onto Facebook and you can find all of the Facebook ads that are currently running. So you can look up your competitors and see what ads they're running on Facebook. And the last thing you can do is use AI to help you break down your main video into different content buckets. And I actually created a free resource inside my school group, which you can find in the link in the description below, about how to use these different content buckets to really 4x the amount of content ideas coming from one YouTube video. And it goes through these 4 styles of content. The first is analytical content, which is data-driven, insights, breakdown, strategic analysis of your main topic. Aspirational content, which includes success stories, client testimonials, and narratives around that main idea. Actionable content, which are how-tos, step-by-step guides, and practical listicles, and awareness content, which is educational content that introduces problems and builds up authority that shows why you are the go-to in your niche for a specific solution. So if you want that, you can use my AI generator to help you make 240 content ideas by mixing these buckets with your own content pillar. So again, click the link in the description below if you want those free prompts. Finally, we're on to step 5, which is completing the content flywheel. So at this point, what we're going to do is analyze and optimize. And this is a critical final step because after every week, when you've posted all your content, you need to ask yourself what went well and what didn't. Which platform got the most engagement and which specific step resonated the most with your audience this week. And when you're asking yourself these questions, you want to look at the different elements of the content that you posted across all the platforms. So I created this element hierarchy for you to know exactly what you should be looking at first when you're reviewing your content. So for YouTube, you want to look at the idea first. The idea of your video is the most important part because it's the backbone of everything else. You want to look at your thumbnail, then your title, hook, script, outros, and CTAs. For short form video, look at your hook, look at your rehook, body, CTA. For long form posts, so this is like X threads or LinkedIn posts, look at the hook, the rehook, the body, then the CTA, and for emails. So if you're repurposing one of your YouTube videos and putting it on an email for your newsletter, look at the subject line first, then look at the hook, then the body and CTA. Break down each element individually and figure out what went well, what didn't. Then you can apply the fixes or apply something that went well to a future post. If an idea didn't work, test a new angle. If the idea worked but no one clicked on it, your thumbnail or title might need work. So that's the thought process you need to go through when you are reviewing your content. So now you have 3 choices. You can do nothing and not make a content flywheel after literally seeing all the information you saw today. You can try building this content flywheel for yourself, but understand that it might take months of iterating to figure out what's going to work for you. Or you can work with me and I will help you build this content flywheel for you. So in reality, you only have 2 options at this point. I can help you build a done-for-you YouTube sales funnel where all you have to do is film for 2 hours per week. That's it. My team will handle everything else and you will book 10 to 30 sales calls per month for your coaching business, for your agency every single month. Or if you're not ready for that, you can join my free school community and get the 4-pillar content system and a free YouTube AI script writer to help you get started with your content flywheel. So check out those links in the description, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next video.